Welcome, boys and squirrels, to the Northern Outcast Outdoors podcast, The Outcast, your home for all things hunting, fishing, and ball busting related. Powered by Citizens Hunting Co., A&F Custom Calls, and Out on a Limb Manufacturing.
Okay, we're live. Should be.
We are live.
Jeffrey, you're back.
Back again, baby.
It's been a minute since you've been on the actual show.
Oh, yeah.
It's also been a minute since we've recorded an episode, too, to be completely fair.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And this is first time we're coming live from the camp, too. So this is a bunch of firsts.
It's beautiful up here.
You want to tell them about what we're doing this weekend?
Well, we are turkey hunting.
It is the first day of turkey finally in PA. The last state in the entire lower continental 48. It's the worst.
The worst.
I mean, you got out a little bit, though. Other states.
Yeah.
Like you got West Virginia for a minute there.
Yeah, me and Belly went down West Virginia.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was my first time out. Pretty much. Well, second time out, but going down to West Virginia, switching it up a little bit. New state.
Yeah. You got a little action with the boy, the junior hunt out in Ohio, since you live in Ohio now, so
Yeah.
you don't have to pay the $3,000 for an out-of-state license like everybody else.
No doubt.
Oh, fuck.
It's easier to buy that out-of-state PA license.
Oh, without a doubt. I think West Virginia is probably one of the easier out-of-states, like as far as they have their app and website and everything, like pretty... I mean, it was really easy. It was way easier than Pennsylvania's, like their new app thing with the Hunt Fish website and all that. I don't know, man. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm also not a huge fan of them making us mail in doe tags up until like literally last year.
Yeah.
It was stupid.
Right. I kind of had like a little bit of trouble West Virginia getting my license because I didn't have my hunter safety course that I could find. So
Your CID number or whatever.
That's what I didn't realize it was a CID number through Ohio. And I was like, well, I don't know this. And I didn't have my card and they were asking me my number and the date I took it. I'm like,
Whenever we were going to go to Montana, I remember I was like trying to look into that stuff and like you had to sign up for their whatever thing. Like you had to like create an account or whatever. And it asked for like the hunter safety. They worded it weird. And I was like, all right, just try my Pennsylvania CID number. I put it in and it went through. So I was like, okay, whatever.
Right. Do you have your hunter safety course? Do you actually have your card?
No, dude, I lost that.
I was going to say
eons ago.
That's impressive because I don't even think I've ever seen my card after the day I took the course.
They gave us the card in like one of those like stupid iron-on patches.
Okay.
Like a million years ago. It was like blue and orange, I think. But no, I think you actually need the card for certain things that I should probably go get. Actually, no, we needed it for, I think Chuck needed it for South Dakota. Like he physically had to get it. And I'm not sure what he did. We'll have to ask him. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure he needed the physical card for that shit, which was wild.
How was South Dakota, like rolling hills and shit, or?
It was, there was a lot of, it was a lot rockier than I thought it was going to be. Like, it was almost like mini Rocky Mountains, like in the Black Hills out there where we were, which I guess you are, like, pretty much getting to the Rocky Mountains from there. But it was very rocky. Like, there's a lot of, like, sheer walls.
Okay.
Like, especially around, like, Mount Rushmore and that stuff. It was pretty wild. It didn't look anything like how I expected it to look. Even, like, after seeing pictures online and stuff, like, looking at maps for months and months, it was pretty neat. A lot of, like, grass and rocks.
Yeah. What do you think about antelope hunting?
Dude, I'd absolutely be down for it. Where did we see it? We didn't see antelope until we got onto Badlands. Up in like the Black Hills where we were, it was just all deer, dude. They were like cockroaches, man.
Yeah. That's a good problem to have, I guess.
I guess. It was wild. There'd be like 200 and like a acre and a half pasture field like fenced in there. They'd just be in there chilling. It was pretty nuts. Now I think antelope would be pretty sick though, but you could go a lot closer for antelope if you really wanted to. You know right. I mean? Not that I would be opposed to going to South Dakota again. I think it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I just want to check out the, different landscapes and wild, dude.
That's the furthest I've ever gone west.
Yeah.
Like traveling in general, which was pretty cool. Missouri River was dope too. I'd love to go fish for sturgeon on that or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
It was a lot bigger than I thought too. Like it was way bigger looking than the Mississippi. Like when we drove over that when we went to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I think it was like way bigger though. Well, it is turkey season and Saturday. Today is Sunday. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Everybody's still listening. Time of posting this. But yesterday was the first day. I mean, it was busy up here. There was a lot of freaking punters out there, dude.
Oh, every pull up. 1, 2, 3 cars.
Yeah, me and Chuck me and Chuck hunted together, and you and our buddy Kopi, which if you followed the YouTube channel, you've seen glimpses of him around. We were in the same township. We were hunting the same general area for the most part, separately. But you guys got into a little running into some hunters.
Yeah,
you were telling me that story earlier, did you?
Yeah, you run into a lot of hunters out here nowadays.
Yeah, it was. I said it earlier. We were bullshitting. And I was like, it honestly reminded me that COVID year, that spring, when everybody was off work and everybody just like decided they're outdoorsmen again now.
Right.
Like how packed it was up here because no one had anything else to do. It's honestly what it looked like this weekend out there.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like, especially on the main roads.
That's a good thing to have a bunch of hunters in,
unless
you're, turkey hunting.
It's frustrating, but it's cool to see, people getting after it. Actually, Chuck and I spoiler alert, I got my bird first thing in the morning yesterday, and me and Chuck went out again to get him one. We got mine right off the roost, and I guess I'll save that story for when he decides to come back around. But him and I went back out again, and where we shot mine, we were kind of like back in there ways, like definitely off the, away from the main roads, even like the dirt road back to his camp, we were like back in there ways. And once we got out on the road and started running into more hunters, I like realized like how crazy it actually was out there. But we ran into one dude, and we were calling him the duck hunter because he freaking had 3 decoy bags up there, and he was a liability. But that was the only physical run-in we had with anybody in the woods. Your story was actually hilarious. I'm gonna make you tell it again.
Oh,
but we left that spot, and Chuck was like, because we both like everybody all of us scout up there, and I was like, I had some pins marked, and there's a public shooting range like not far from where we were. I was like, well, me and Geoff saw some birds over there, a month ago or so. There's a farm that comes down. I was like, nice little thing. We started driving down the road, and I started seeing like more and more trucks like on the way there, and I'm like, dude, there's definitely going to be someone in this pull off. So I'm like, forget it. Like, let's just go back and hunt the dirt road back. And right when I said that, I called you, and I was like, yeah, you're like, yeah, we're at the hunting or the trail up behind the shooting range. I was like, yeah, that's like good thing we didn't go.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be people there.
But yeah, tell us about your little encounter there, because I was freaking crying.
Yeah, so I pull up to the parking lot, and there's one truck, of course, which I expected there to be a truck. But this lane is it's like one nice gravel road that runs back along a ridge about 1.5 miles, and it gets to a little parking. So me and Kopi, we walk back this real slow, just, crow calling, owl hooting, even in the middle of the day. It's like 11 o'clock. We're just throwing everything out there, trying to get something to locate. Well, we finally work our way all the way back to the parking lot, and we're back there, and it's like 1.5 miles in, and, we already have tried to call for everything. Yeah. So we're like kind of messing around, just throwing anything out dicks. There. Yeah. We're just talking bullshit, and, I just shit my pants. Loud as hell. He's throwing out a hawk scream just as a Hail Mary. We're just being ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I convinced him to walk down the hill, and he's like, let's go over here by this orange marker. We'll just start walking. So we walk like 15 yards from where we just made all this ridiculous noise, and he just stops, and he goes, there's a hunter like 10 yards in front of us. And this poor guy just had to listen to us make absolute asses out of ourselves.
Dude, I cannot believe he didn't say, I mean, that's hilarious, actually. The poor bastard.
Oh, I feel so bad for him.
Truthfully, though, like, if that was happening, and like, I would probably just be sitting there laughing, too. Like, honestly.
I just hope that he was laughing.
Like, obviously, he wasn't seeing or hearing anything either.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, it was 11:40 at that point. It was like...
That's lonely turkey o'clock right there, though.
Right. That's a good point, yeah. But thanks to, PA putting a little half day on, that's...
Yeah, it sucks,
the end of the time crunch, so...
I mean, they can say whatever, and you can be on either side of the fence, like with the powers to be, but
right,
it's gay.
But at the end of the day,
it's gay
when it's 11:40, and
and you got one on the line,
right?
And
it's a little frustrating.
Yeah. It's I didn't talk to you about this, but I was just like thinking, like the first time you ever came hunting up here, and I remember you had never been turkey hunting before, right?
Right.
Before we came out. How long ago was that, dude? That was what?
5 years ago?
5-6 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
It's really cool to like see the progression. You're like hooked on it now.
Oh man, it's awesome.
Because I remember you were like a little skeptical like initially, like, I'm an archery hunter. Fuck these stupid birds.
Right. I never messed with turkey. It wasn't necessarily appealing to me fully. I didn't understand the
I
game.
definitely think you got the bug for sure.
Oh man, awesome! It's awesome. I mean, I'm still just figuring shit out, and trying to figure out the way the process works.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're always adjusting
learning,
with these
no matter
things.
what, But
I always explain it with deer hunting. It's like in archery, rifle, I mean, whatever. But in like archery season, it's like 90% prep and 10% actually like hunting. Whereas like with turkey hunting, it's 10% prep and like 90% out there executing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like adjusting and like actually like chasing these things.
Right. Yeah, it's a different game.
Oh, for sure.
It's fun.
Yeah, yesterday the weather's been pretty terrible in Pennsylvania for the last like month and a half, but the overcast days I think kept them pretty quiet yesterday, and it's been the consensus of everybody.
Right. Yeah, I was a little frustrated yesterday because we went around all day, just not a single gobble. But here's you on the other hand, you guys are just getting on them.
We were, but it wasn't we've had days where they're just going freaking insane. Like the one I shot, I guess I'll get into it a little bit, but the one I shot, we were set up initially before sunup really early, and it was so overcast. It was like dark. Like, once you get close, obviously you're turning the flashlights off. You're going into the danger zone there. Like,
right.
You couldn't see. Like, usually you have enough twilight to like creep in there, dude. It was actually like terrible. And we were walking down a trail, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know if we're on the damn trail.
Yeah.
Like through this field, and I'm like, this is like actually like kind of sus. You know what I mean? But it started raining, which actually the forecast changed like 5 different times. It was supposed to be, a washout, and then it kind of dialed back. Thankfully, it dialed back, and it only rained for like an hour and a half, like first thing in the morning when we were sitting there. And obviously didn't hear anything, but the crows like started going like ballistic, right? Like around like legal shooting light. Like there was probably 20 or 30 crows around us, like, within like that radius of like what you could actually hear around us, and they were just going completely insane. And we sat there till, I don't know, 6:15 maybe, something like that. And I was like, he came walking down, and I was like, dude, like what the hell, man? Like, this is like frustrating. Like, usually you hear at least one like somewhere, you know what I mean? Like, we know there's birds there, and like you said, just frustrating. And he's like, well, he goes, let's just try going over here, because it was like the amount of crows like calling, like you would think there'd be at like one courtesy gobble.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like just one shot gobble. And we rolled over, and he was just a lonely dude out there by himself. He turned on, and he was going hard. We called him in. He was going pretty hard. No doubt with him. But the other two that we did end up going on, they were pretty tight-lipped. You know what I mean? Like, they gobbled, but not, it wasn't like an aggressive, like, I'm ready to rock kind of thing. It was like, yeah, I'm over here, and if you want to come over, and whatever.
Yeah, just kind of content.
Yeah, it was like real casual. That'd be a good way to put it. You know what I mean? Like, but they were all by themselves, like early in the morning. Like, they were already split off, which it's a good problem to have.
Right.
Hen up birds ain't coming in unless you work the hens. But yeah, it wasn't. What do we have? We were on 3 birds. We got the one. The other 2, fumbled. The second one was more because of the duck hunter boogering them off. But yeah, they weren't. They weren't, really calling to us either. Like, even the ones we got on. So it's kind of it's misleading to say that we were like really on them, because we were. But you know what I mean? Like, not like those crazy like.
I mean, the day I had yesterday with not a single gobble, I'd say you're compared to me.
Yeah,
right.
Comparatively, for sure.
Yeah. Just to hear one, I'd be like, well, I guess I'm on them right now.
Oh yeah, and don't get me wrong. If we didn't get that bird, I would still say that was a badass day. Just, you know what I mean?
Right.
Anytime you're having like close encounters, like, birds at 30 yards, even if they're hanging up, you don't get a shot, still a badass day.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, I guess like the actual reward of it, like, yeah, obviously you want to shoot a bird, but like talking to them and like interacting with them like that is like, I think the coolest shit ever.
Right. Yeah. Just being out there and watching them do their thing.
Oh yeah.
Being around to hear them, how they, do their thing. Awesome.
Oh yeah. So cool. So freaking cool.
Especially up here. I mean, it's just a different environment.
Oh, it's nothing like hunting farm birds back home, or, even like the little shitty plots of
right.
public we do have down home. You know what I mean? It's completely different up here. Even the way they act is completely different up here. There's way more things up here that are trying to kill them.
Right. Yeah, a lot more spooky for sure.
Oh, yeah. But, dude, those first couple gobbles in the morning, Like that just gets you going, man.
Oh yeah,
reinvigorates oneself, if you will. No, but I mean, you did. We said earlier you had some action in Ohio in the junior hunt. Your boy got his first bird.
Yeah,
Was this his first one?
Yeah, this is his first one.
Yeah, we were watching the video of it. He crushed that thing. But you were with Kopi too for that one.
Yeah, I mean Kopi like basically organized everything. Yeah, we used his decoys, his blind, his shotgun. I was just there like calling just along for the ride. He called, and we had birds, right? 3 jakes that had been coming in pretty much every day. I mean, they were just on the same pattern, and they would right off the roost, they'd fly down, mess around, come over, and cut right through where we were going to set up the blind. So it was. Yeah. There wasn't much calling involved. It was just, we set up and here they came. I mean, we did a little calling and they were kind of, it didn't make a difference if we were calling or not because that's where they were coming no matter what. So we had the hen come through. There was a single hen that came through first and then the jake, just a pure jake, just the smallest little beard, small little nubs. But man, he was
big.
Big body.
He looked very big. That's why I said he reminded me of those Rio jakes, like they were freaking 20-pound birds, but they were like little goobers
compared to the hen.
Huge
just enormous. It's crazy the difference.
I mean, honestly, that jake you got in Oklahoma was as big as the bird I shot yesterday.
That thing was
without
big.
a doubt. And like I shot like a mature tom up here.
Right,
those birds are just so much freaking bigger.
Well,
you got them Ohio ones over there too. They get a little better eating out there.
Oh yeah, they get pretty big.
Do you have any plans for Ohio once we get back home here?
There's a state park down the street from me that I was thinking about doing some kayaking in and trying to locate
For the record, I'm never kayaking hunting with you again. You will never get me in the boat again.
Man, if you're down for the adventure, going out with the owl hooter.
I know. I say I won't, but I know, and that if you call me and say it's, I'll be like, all right, fine. But I'm going to tell you I'm opposed. PTSD.
Just get the dry bag out.
Yeah, I'll be a little better prepared. Also, to be completely fair, I was in a kayak that you and your wife use, and you're both like 5'0" nothing,
right?
And I'm not a small human being. Didn't help things. No.
They're not, those pelicans, the cheapest ones you can get, not very stable.
No.
And when there's down trees in the 10-foot stream, it's inevitable. Bad things happen.
That was probably one of the worst days we've ever had. We've already talked about it, but one of the worst days hunting without a doubt.
But when those birds gobble from the kayak,
it was pretty sweet. It was pretty sweet. I'll give you that. Sweet. But yeah, also down in West Virginia that weekend with Sabelli. That was your only weekend down there?
Yeah.
Those dudes have been hitting it pretty hard down there.
I didn't, I was just rolling with Sabelli. He knew he had a spot he wanted to go to.
Oh, my God.
When we got to it, he got to it in the morning. I didn't.
Yeah.
And he said, there was someone parked there. It was such a small spot that we were just going to hit something else that he didn't know where they were roosted necessarily. He had a general idea, nothing confirmed or anything.
Yeah.
And going in there with him and, we were in there late because we were just kind of game plan, and then we waited for the sun to come up because we wanted to hear him in there. And yeah, it was pretty sweet. Got on some.
For sure. But that public down there is tough because it's tough. The northern tip of West Virginia. So it's, got Ohio. We actually, when we drive down there, you come through Ohio down through there and PA, Ohio border, straight down through there. So it's just an easy spot, out of state spot to hit for 2 other states right there. So it gets some traffic down there.
Oh yeah, there's more Ohio and PA plates than there are West Virginia plates.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I get a little sketched out down there too because the last year I hunted it. Well, me and Chuck went last year and we shot that one on our way back from South Dakota. But the year before, whenever we camped out down there for the week and hunted that opening week, that old man shot that because you can use freaking center fire rifles.
I think they changed that.
Did they?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Because the year we hunted down there, that old man shot that young kid. The dude was old, he was 60s or whatever. But yeah, he shot this kid across the field with a .243. Shot him right in the freaking chest. He was putting decoys out, shot him, killed him right in front of his girlfriend. She was sitting in the blind. It was something terrible. And I was freaked out about being down there. I don't want to be down here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get sketched out with shotguns around here. All the people, I could never imagine if everyone was shooting centerfire rifles at turkey.
Yeah.
Dude.
Totally ridiculous.
That's wild. I mean, West Virginia is wild and wonderful, and it makes sense.
Allegedly.
Those boys, They get after it.
No, they've been since we've like met up with like Seth, like the guy that does our hats and like all of our like stuff like that. Those guys like really hit it hard down in West Virginia, and like the year we met them, like I don't know, 4 years ago, whatever it was. They've been like the ones kind of pulling the group down there for turkey, but I know they like rent a cabin like in deer season, go down there, and like they hit it pretty hard down there for sure. But they're the ones that kind of Chuck had been hunting down there, but they're like kind of the ones that like really like pulled us down into there, you know, consistently.
Yeah. There is a lot of good opportunity down there to, you know, I think they have, you can get, it used to be this way, I'm not sure. I know you can get multiple buck tags down there.
Really?
I'm pretty sure you could get at least 2 now. I could be wrong. They might have done away with that.
Yeah.
But because they kind of changed a lot of things here recently.
Yeah, there's been a lot of states that have been changing their stuff up. I mean, Oklahoma, there's like a 3 turkey state when we went, wasn't it? Or was it 2?
I think it was just 2, but
yeah, but they knocked theirs down to 1. I think Tennessee knocked theirs down to 1. Pennsylvania's still 2. The only thing I don't like about it, and I think we're also the only state that does this shit, is you have to buy your second tag before the season starts. Which, I mean, whatever. What is it? $30?
So it is $28.
Something like that for the second tag. Like, yeah, but the only 2 times I've ever bought the second tag, I didn't get a bird at all that year. Like, it's like kind of like a little like jinx, you know what I mean? Like, and right. we always joke about it too, like amongst ourselves, like, don't do it. And I think I'm the only one that didn't buy it this year. I think everybody did buy the second. Did you get the second tag?
I didn't get the second tag.
Okay, you didn't get the second, but I think everybody else did. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So
I figured, well, Ohio now, you used to always be able to get 2 birds as long as I've known in Ohio. And I think they just changed that this year. You can only get 1
Yeah,
now,
I think you're right now that I'm thinking about it.
But Ohio, it's like, you know, you kill a bird, it used to be, and then you could get another tag after. You didn't have to buy it before season. Yeah. That's kind of wild that PA, you know, I don't know if that's a money thing or what. Or
yeah, like I said, it's only $30, but it's like, why wouldn't you want people to be able to buy it in the middle of the season? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like I just got that one the first day. If you could do that, I'd probably go buy my second tag and hunt around home, because I got a bunch of private land that I had like in my back pocket now this year that like I'm obviously not going to hunt there because I can't, you know, whatever. But like I'd probably go buy that tag, and the state would make more, like the game commission would make more money off of me. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. I think it's counterproductive.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, dude, Wisconsin, if you go there, Wisconsin's wild. And me and Chuck have talked about this a few times. When we drove through there, dude, there's so many turkeys in the state of Wisconsin. It is insane. And you can literally shoot a turkey every day of the freaking season. There's like a video, this channel, he was telling me about this guy. I think he shot like 12 turkeys or something insane. Like maybe not 12, it's an exaggeration, but he shot a shit ton of turkeys. And you can just go back and buy another tag and go back out and shoot another one.
Do you know if there's a limit?
I think there is. Or maybe there's not. Maybe you literally can't shoot one every day of the season. It's something insane.
That's pretty wild.
But when we drove through there, we came through. We came through 90, like down to La Crosse, Michigan, where the Mississippi River starts. But like once we crossed in there, it's like kind of like swampy, like pines and swampy. Like I don't even know how to explain it, but like going through there, like once that started clearing up and you hit the farmland, dude, I'm saying like we saw over 100 turkeys. Yeah. Like, you know, we were like had our phones out on Onyx, just like dropping pins. Like, oh my God, dude, there's like 10 in this field over here. There's like whatever. And we're like, man, we screwed up going to Minnesota. We should have came here. And then one of the last things we saw before we crossed into Michigan there by the rivers, it was like a ski resort you could see from the highway. And there was like 3 ski slopes, and there was a strutter in every one of the freaking slopes. Yeah, that's wild. Like kind of late in the day too. Like it was like getting like, I don't know, around like 7 o'clock at night, something like that. Like they were getting ready to go to bed, but they're out there just like raising hell. Yeah, trying to round up the hens. Yeah, I think me and him have talked about it a few different times, but like that might be like a cool out of state, like whatever, just go stack bodies up there. Yeah. Thin the herd. Right. But yeah, they're the only state I think that you can like shoot that many. Like I don't even know if there's any states you can get like 3 or something other than that. Yeah, I've never heard of any. So. No, it's wild. But yeah, that would be a cool trip to take up there. Plus, it's not as far of a drive either, too. What is it? 15 hours? Something like that. Yeah. Maybe a little less. Yeah, I think it's a little. No, maybe something like that from where we are. But I don't know. This is the first year I didn't go out of state, and I think this is the first year we didn't take a big trip like as a group. Chuck went to Virginia. Which, I mean, whatever. That's not really that far from us, truthfully. Sebring hunts down there just about every year. I think it's the first year he hasn't hunted down there. But like, there's no big trips this year.
What does Seaburn do? Just go down on some public land down there?
He got family down there, so I don't know if he has private that he hunts down there. I know he hunted public last year when he was down there. He didn't go this year, but Chuck went down this year with Joe Marcello, who's been on the Whitetail Distraction a few times. Actually, we bought their couch off him. That's what I'm sitting in right now. It's kind of funny. Me and my brother bought it off him, but small world. They went down there and they were planning on hunting like some public plots down there that they like e-scouted and had like a campground set up. And then I can't remember if it was like through his brother Joe or Joe Marcello, whatever. They like fell into some like really spicy private land, and they both ended up getting birds on it. Like I think they were only down there for the long weekend.
Yeah.
But they both got one down there.
That's always a good blessing to have, is to fall on some private.
Oh my God,
especially out of state.
Oh yeah, totally. And he like weaseled his way right in there. Slimy little prick. But yeah, he got one down there. I don't know I can't remember who got one in West Virginia. I don't know if anybody from like our immediate group got one. Kenny missed one. His dad missed one, actually, both the same week down there. And then actually, I was talking to Kenny earlier. I think his dad got one up here. Their camp's not far from us over in Marionville.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know if anybody in like the immediate group got one down in West Virginia this year yet or not. So
yeah, I'm not too sure. I know everybody's been missing turkey, including me this year. First miss I've ever had, which I've only been for 5 or 6 years. So I mean,
go on, tell us about it.
Yeah,
I had to talk about mine when it happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I missed. That's the worst part, because I patterned my shotgun and it was shooting a little high. Yeah. So I knew that going in. But I had number 4s in there. 2 ounce number 4s. You're rocking beads
too.
Yeah.
It's easy to pull your head up with that.
Yeah.
I've missed turkeys doing that.
I mean, whenever it happened, so I got this bird, lit him up with just the crow call. Yeah. And I knew where he was. There was actually 2 of them.
This is in Ohio?
This is in Ohio, yeah. This was actually on that state park.
Oh, okay.
And so there's a bunch of people out there. It's opening day was Saturday. I'm out there on Monday thinking, everyone. Well, no, there was cars everywhere. There's actually a guy that dropped off 4 Amish kids.
Oh God, that's like the kiss of death.
It's the kiss of death, which I didn't realize at the time. I went in there not knowing where any birds were. Period. I had no idea, and I went in with the owl, and got him, found one, got in there.
Yeah,
he flew down off the roost and was like 80 yards from me down this hill, because I'm on a bench looking down. I mean, it's a steep hill, and I'm looking down on him just strutting at 80 yards just out. And I know he's not coming any closer, and I gave him a little subtle, but he knew I was there. But a hen was right behind me. So I had a hen between me and him.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I should probably just try to scare this hen.
Yeah, booger it off. Yeah.
But I was like in open hardwoods, and
this
guy,
tough, man. That's real tough.
Where he was strutting, he could see me the entire time.
Yeah.
So it was like, I'm just sitting there watching him, knowing that this hen's about to get to him. They're going to walk off, you know? And I'm like, much I just got to sit here. And if I try to scare the hen, I'm probably going to scare this gobbler. So, and he was nice too. He'd probably, it's hard to tell at 80 yards with no binoculars, but I'm thinking probably close to a 10-inch beard, He's
he's mature.
Big mature Tom. Yeah. But, he ends up going off. So I jump up, try to cut them off, get in front of where they're headed, because it's very small. They're just going to follow the creek down. Pretty much. I'll get another shot. Yeah. So I hop up, and I hear a person, and I look over, and he's standing there. So I bounce out around, and I get about 400 yards down from where they're headed, and immediately run into another person. I'm like, well, all these guys are just going to be standing over here, so I'm just going to climb this terrible cliff to the other side.
To people listening to that don't know, Geoff's like definitely the most athletic out of all of us. Like, if he says it's sketchy, I can assure you it's like your life's in danger if you're going up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just for perspective.
I should have had a chalk bag going up this thing.
Hell yeah.
It was a cliff face. It was really stupid.
Like, it's to the point in our group, like, people, like, if me and him are like talking about something, we say it's bad, they'll be like, is it like our bad or your bad? And then like we got to like, clarify everything, which is incredible. But yeah, continue.
Yes. So I get on the other side of this creek, and I'm like at the top of the ridge just walking. I was going to start crow calling, but one of the guys on the other side was hitting the crow call. So somehow he ended up walking right beside me without knowing it. And I'm just following him as he's crow calling. And like every 5 minutes, I'd be walking on the ridge nice and slow, and he'd hit it.
Yeah.
And we're like just parallel with each other. So eventually he lights one up on my side of the creek. So I'm like, here we go. I just dropped down on it, and I start giving it some subtle, just some clucks, and immediately, I'm like, okay. So I just sit there. I give it a couple minutes. He gobbles on his own again. So
that's always the best, dude.
One more set of just subtle clucks. That's all it took. And there was 2 of them. There's one to my left, probably about 200 yards, which I didn't know it at the time, but he was on this gas line.
Yeah.
And he was just strutting, gobbling on his own on this gas line. And so this bird starts working his way up, and I see him coming because, again, I'm on a hillside looking down, and I could see him. He's coming perfect. Yeah. So I just shut up. I'm waiting. He gets to what I thought was 50 yards, and he just starts strutting back and forth. And I watch him for like 2 minutes, and I'm a little... I was sighting my shotgun in at 50 yards, and it was kind of... There wasn't many BBs left in there. Yeah. So I was a little nervous to take the shot, but I thought I could hit it,
Oh, yeah, the 3.5, yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Especially with a good choke,
They weren't TSS or anything. They were just Winchester XRs. Chuck. But...
Yeah. It's
very
that combo has killed a lot of birds.
Right. I mean, this isn't out of the question,
No, for sure.
So I'll wait for him to get behind the tree. He's not coming any closer. Safety's off. He comes out, facing right at me. I shoot, expecting him to be flopping. As soon as I hop up, he's flying off, and I'm just standing there, jaw dropped. What the hell just happened?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
When I stood up, it was a little further than 50, I think, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe it was closer to 60, but...
People talk shit about, like, how did you miss a turkey with a shotgun or whatever? Dude, when it happens to you, and it will happen, it happens to everybody. I think Chuck missed one this year, too. That is, like, missing a turkey is, in my opinion, worse than missing a deer. Like, a clean miss on a deer is like, like, yeah, that sucks, but, like, dude, you, like, put in all that work to call this bird, and, like you said, you're just running, like, it is mentally debilitating when you miss a turkey.
Right. Yeah. It seems like should be such a sure thing with a shotgun,
Yeah. And it's like, when it happens, you're like, what the, it's depressing. It's depressing.
Dude,
there's no other way to put it.
I was so confused, I mean, like, I really don't feel like I pulled my head up. I feel like I was just in it, clear minded.
That makes it even worse.
Yeah. I was just really blown away. I couldn't believe it.
Well, I mean, I guess why not? We'll go into it. But like the one I shot yesterday, and it was coming in by itself, like textbook, reading the script straight at us. We were higher elevation, calling down, and it was rolling up the hill, walking right up a trail straight at us. And I shot it like 35 yards. And again, like you said, you're staring this thing down through your, the barrel, like your sights on your gun for, minutes or however long, you're watching this thing come in, like, you mentally like get yourself in there and you're like, oh, okay, nice squeeze, feeling good about it. And like I shot mine. We did have another one to like the left goblin that I was like, Chuck always like yells at me because like I've had horrible situations where it's like I shoot and you think it's down, you don't get up and step on it, and it starts like doing some sketchy shit, But I knew there was another one in the area. He still had a tag. I'm like, okay, I shot it. I saw it like roll to the side, and I'm like, oh yeah, dude, I fucking nailed this thing, 35 yards, like done deal, dude. So I racked shell real fast, and I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking like, oh, this other bird, like let's start calling, and dude, that thing just tried to start flying. I'm like, there's no way in hell, dude. Like, there's no way. So then I get up and run down the hill. But it's the same thing. Like, I was like having like, flashbacks. Like, I mean, obviously we got the bird, but when that happens, it's like, oh my God, dude. Like, so many like things go through your head. Like, what happened? Like, what did I do? What was, whatever. But I'm like, there's no way I missed this stupid ass thing. But after we cut the bird up and like investigated, I shot a little low. Like I got more body than head, obviously, but I crippled him up enough that he didn't get too far.
Right. So whenever you were aiming, would you say you were like right where the neck meets the chest?
And that's where I always like try to aim. Playing it back in my head, and like we got it on camera too. Watching the clip with Chuck, he, like I said, I was holding on him and he was walking up a hill at us. So I don't know if like he just was like his walking, changed like and I had shot a little low as a result. Like, I don't know. I mean, there's a million things, but like you could see a big puff of feathers come off of him whenever I shoot. So like, I mean, obviously whenever which was wild too. And this is just like kind of a testament to like how tough these freaking animals are. Like he took every BB from that 3.5 inch at 35 yards and like still cooking. Like, you know what I mean? When I opened it up, I was like, oh my God, dude, like Yeah, I crushed this dude.
You
and
know that pattern is tight at 30.
Oh my God, yeah. Out of that, yeah. And I shoot number 5s. I think it's kind of like a nice balance of, whatever. But he was just a tough son of a bitch, dude. And even when we got down on him, Chuck, it looked like he was about to like try to take off again. Chuck got a shot at it before I did, which he'll never let me live that down. And actually, I was kind of pissed at him. He did that. But, even still, he shot that thing from, when he shot, he was like 10, 15 yards from it, with a TSS straight to the freaking head. And that motherfucker still flopped for a good 5 minutes. Even after I stepped on it, it was still, it was just a tough son of a bitch.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. But yeah, dude, the turkey misses are just, oh God, dude. You like go home and think about your life.
Oh yeah, it makes you reevaluate a little bit.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, it was like, what did I do? Like, what? It's different than archery. Like, dude, I've missed deer in archery, and it's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, maybe it's just because I like hunting turkey so much more that there's more, I guess pressure. Yeah, a little more pressure.
Dude, did I tell you about missing that buck last year with Kobe?
Maybe.
I was out there. We were in a tree stand together. I was going to film him.
Yeah.
Over in Ohio. We were over at Bayfile, but I was going to film him. And as we're standing there, I brought my bow just in case. But I'm on the back side of this tree we're in, and I hear something crash. I look over, and there's a nice buck standing 40 yards away.
Yeah.
And he's just staring right at me, but he doesn't know I'm there.
Yeah.
And then eventually I get my bow, and I'm drawing back, and I'm thinking, Kobe's heard me pull my bow off. He heard this buck crash through. He knows what's going on, So I draw my bow back, and my elbow's hitting a limb. So I had to like let it back down.
Yeah.
Lean out and draw my bow again. And I'm looking at this thing, and I squeezed the trigger. I was using one of my thumb releases.
Yeah.
And I just sailed this thing.
Yeah.
And right over its back.
Airmailed it.
Just over. I mean, he ducked, but
yeah.
it would have been a high shot no matter what, but he ducked it anyway.
Yeah.
And Kobe had no idea. He turns around, he's like, what the hell?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. But, dude, I don't know. Missing that thing, frustrating.
I feel like whenever you miss it, like especially when you're with somebody, because I've missed turkey with people, and I've missed deer with, someone there, like on the scene. And I feel like whenever you miss a deer, like it's like Chuck, the one time me and Chuck hunted together, and we were on his family's property. He airmailed this freaking deer, hit a stick and shit. Like it was like freaking atrocious. Like it was so bad, dude. It was a terrible shot.
Yeah.
I remember I just laughed at him. We watched the video. Like I was like laughing. I was like, it was like funny. Like, dude, when I missed that turkey 2 years ago up here, dude, I was pissed. Like I was freaking pissed. Like Chuck was not pissed, but like you know what I mean. Like we were both like visibly agitated. Like you know what I mean. Like it was like, oh, like so frustrating. And I don't understand and like I said, maybe it's just because we like it more,
right? Yeah.
But it's such a different mental.
I feel like there's so much of a buildup with turkey. Like when they're coming in. And you know what I'm saying? It's like there's so much more anticipation. I mean,
this happens to me. Let me. I've never asked anybody else this. Whenever they're coming in, like as opposed to a deer, like dude, my breathing changes. Like I gotta like mentally like tell myself like, dude, don't breathe that hard. Like you know what I mean? Like your chest is like you're like building up. Like do you get that like surge of like emotion, I guess would be like a good way to say it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like the anticipation of this bird coming in, and especially when they're just doing everything they do.
Like when safety's off.
When the safety's
like,
off, they're just over the hill.
Yeah.
And it's like any second you're waiting for that redhead to just come popping up.
You're just scanning. Oh, dude. Like, the adrenaline rush from that, like you can't explain it until you experience it.
Dude, whenever one lights up way off, and then next thing you know, it's cut half the distance in like seconds, and that moment right there is like the adrenaline that
puckers,
can hit
dude,
you. Oh, and you're just looking for a tree,
locked in. Yeah.
Oh man,
that's another thing that kind of screwed us yesterday when I told you about that third one we messed with, and this is something that Gene, he was like my mentor, like hunting. He would always like drill it into me. He's like, if you're just walking and you don't like know where you're going, like you don't have a bird you're like going after, he goes, do not call unless you got like okay, that's a good setup up there. Go to that tree and call from there, because you never know how close some damn things are.
Right.
Like it's ideally you want to strike one and then close a distance on it, but like dude, it's danger close and you're like out in the middle of the trail, you're screwed.
Right. Yeah.
And that's something like I always like. And yesterday we did it. We were and to be fair, we were closing the distance on this bird. We called from the trail like we definitely shouldn't have had, and that bird was at like 30 yards, and that was it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But after like, especially like after like, dude, we got one. We were just on another one. Like, dude, like you get that third one going, and you're like chasing, and you're like in the zone. Like, dude, like you are, balls of steel, dude. Like you are like
you're
King
making
Kong.
moves.
Yeah, like you feel good about yourself, dude. Like that's like a different high.
Absolutely. Right.
Oh man.
Like so let's say midday, like it's 10 o'clock and you're out there and you're trying to get a bird to just gobble. That's it.
Yeah.
Would you say the best case scenario would be like to hit it with a crow call or a woodpecker call or whatever you use, have one locate, cut the distance down, then start find a good setup, you start hen calling to them?
For me, I usually don't use the crow call. Like I use the crow call out of season. Or like if I'm scouting. So like if like for instance, like yesterday we got done hunting at noon and we wanted to scout for the next day. I'm not using a turkey call to scout with. You know what I mean? You don't want to call them in. You just want to know where they're at. So like I'll use the crow call for that. If when it's game time, if I can't get them to answer to, and obviously in the morning I'll call, whatever. But like, throughout the day, like it's just, regular turkey calling. And if they're not answering, then, hit the crow call for a shock gobble. If one's nearby, you know what I mean? You can get them to do that. But like typically through the day, if I'm just trying to strike one, I'll hit them with that. But the one thing that's always nice to have is something that hits like a different pitch. So like, I don't know if you noticed, like when we were crow calling earlier, we just had one behind the camp. We were trying to get to go. I'll hit like a, different octave. Like I'll call like high or like, and then the next time, and sometimes just that change in pitch will get them, in my experience, to like gobble. So like I keep a glass slate call on me usually most of the time, especially up here because it carries a little farther. I think, you know what I mean? It has that like higher frequency it hits, but that's kind of like the same idea. If like they're not answering on the mouth call or whatever, I'll whip that out. It just hits a different octave that like that'll, make them shock gobble sometimes. Or like if you have I have like that goofy little like old mouth call, it's just beat to shit, but it sounds insane. Every now and again, like if I'm a Hail Mary mode, like I'll whip that thing out and you'll get one to shock gobble, like giving them something they haven't heard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Just changing up the tone.
Oh yeah.
Easy as that. Just
the pitch can make a huge difference. And that's like yesterday, Chuck likes to call. So like I humor him. I let him, do the majority of the calling when we're out, but it's always good to have. And this is something we've talked about 100 times too, is like, having someone that you're on the same page with hunting. You know what I mean? Like me and you have been hunting together for a long time. Like for the most part, there's like when we're in game mode, like there's not a lot of like guessing. Like we know what we're on the same page. You know what I mean? Like for the most part. And it's the same with Chuck. whenever we're calling, and you don't want to overcall, but like when you get into a situation where like you're trying to like paint a picture, having two bird, like you want to sound like there's two hens there because you sound completely different. My calling sounds completely different from yours, completely different from Chuck's. They were gobbling for Chuck. They weren't gobbling for me. You know what I mean? Right. And it's just like kind of like what they're in the mood for.
Yeah.
It's not that, he's that much better of a caller than me, or I'm, that, you know what I mean? It's just like the different sound frequencies, different like sounds, the tone, like
different cadence.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Like they're crazy motherfuckers, dude.
Right. Yeah. That's always nice to have just another guy to paint that picture of two hens, maybe coming, both searching, meeting, maybe getting into it a little bit,
Yeah,
or just two content hens. I mean,
yes,
it's hard to beat that.
Yeah, and then like I went back behind him. That third one after he gobbled at 30, like he definitely like saw us. Like we screwed that up for sure, but. Going back behind him and like scratching in the leaves and acting like you're feeding, stuff like that. He gobbled one more time for us, but that was like kind of it. But I think the second caller, having someone that's competent as a second caller, I think is very effective for dealing with birds with hens. Like if you want to try to piss off a hen, being able like to cackle like back and forth each other, like a hen challenge, like, you know what I mean? Like hen fight. That is very useful for getting hens to come in, which will bring the gobblers obviously too. But I think that's something that like maybe a lot of people overlook, like, just like little things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like with the leaf scratching and stuff, all the realism that you can put in, is just, what they hear and what they listen for all day, and just to add that to it just makes it that much better, much more effective.
Taking your hat off, smacking it in the leaves, acting like they're, shaking their feathers out, like, dumb little things like that. Like,
right.
For sure. Just don't want to go out there and only kiki.
Yeah.
And there's guys that do that. You're not going to kill as many birds as us, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Being able to actually sound like a turkey. You know what I mean?
Whenever I was down in West Virginia, I started like kind of mildly cutting and yelping to try to locate one. And then I started doing a couple clucks, and I kind of put a little whine in there. And as soon as I hit that whine, one gobbled off in the distance. And all it was just like a key, like pitch, like a key whine. Yeah. And just that change of pitch is what got him to hammer.
Oh, yeah. Being able to call quietly, too, like not just go out there and just like being able to do soft shit, I think is like very, very, very important.
Yeah. Like as you're calling to a bird and he's far and he's closing the distance, like to get him to start up, you want to, give him some loud cutting.
Yeah. I mean, you're
yelps,
trying to find him.
Sometimes, and then as he's coming in, are you switching to like more subtle?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. But at the same time, you kind of got to read the temperature. Right. You know what I mean? Like if he's aggressive, I'm going to get a little aggressive too.
Into aggressive stuff. Right.
Like the one yesterday, like he started cutting us off because me and Chuck were both calling at the same time. Like we were like, tandem kind of calling, like, and he was like interested. But once I called, with Chuck at the same, like we were both like, and he was like, there's two. And then he really got turned on. You know what I mean?
Coming, yeah.
And like, once he started getting aggressive, like Chuck cut him off, and then that was it. Like he's coming in now. You know what I mean? Like being able to, I mean, it's the same as like us having a conversation. Like being able to, that's what you're doing with it more or less. Is like you're talking to this bird, but like you want to like
match the energy.
Exactly, that's the best way to put it. Like if you're, especially with hens, like whatever a hen's doing, do it back to her, and then get slowly get more aggressive. Like you know what I mean? But whatever the hen's doing, always do what the hen's doing. Same.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like they pick up on that stuff. Like if you're doing something like it'd be like if you're going to go play in a band or something, you show up and you start playing a completely different song than everybody else. Like it's going to sound like shit, and they'll be like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the same. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? You got to be harmonious with them.
Right. But at the same time, if you sit there and listen to country all day, but then someone comes in playing a little rock, it might turn your ear.
No doubt. No doubt. Just not at the same time.
Right.
Over top of each other.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many nuances with calm, and it's just kind of a you got to go out there and talk to the birds. You know what I mean? Like there's such a huge level of experience to like, and like I'm not going to say I'm good at calling turkeys, like or anything like that. Like we're all students of the game,
absolutely,
like for sure. But like even thinking 10 years ago, what I thought worked, using air quotes, like as compared to now, like, wow, dude, you were like in the Stone Age.
Yeah. Every year you kind of reinvent.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. Which is wild. And, hunting out of state and chasing different species and like stuff like that. Like I have such a bigger respect for the birds that we have around here. I do still, and I will say it, we have probably some of the hardest birds to hunt,
Oh, those
especially up here.
Bird Easterns.
Yep, without a doubt. Like
that's a tough challenge right there. It can be,
Oh, for sure. Like
there's some guys who got it figured out though.
Oh, for sure.
For
sure. And I mean, you can attest to this, dude. Oklahoma, dude, that was like, I remember the third day when we shot that one out of the blind. It was just me and you. And I remember we looked at each other like, that's it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was all it took. That's it. Like, really? I think I called to that bird one time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he flew down out of the roost, just walked in. Like, that was it. It wasn't like, I don't know any other way to put it. And like, even South Dakota, dude, we shot that one by, 6:30 in the morning, first day.
Yeah.
And it
seems like, you travel 20 hours.
Oh, it was longer than that, dude. It was almost like 38 hours out there, dude.
Oh, man. That's
insane. It was forever. Maybe not that long, but it was a long fucking drive.
Right. Yeah, you expect to like fight,
suffer a little.
Nail,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, suffer. But you get there and just get it done right off the rip. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
But
and there was triple the people out there. Like the traffic out there was insane. How many hunters were out there?
That's crazy.
I mean, we stopped at Mount Rushmore, and there was groups of dudes in camo. Like obviously, what they're there for. the day before the season opens up. You know what I mean?
Not the Mount Rushmore ice cream stand.
No. God, chucking his ice cream. Oh, that's a funny story. If you guys want to go back and listen to that, I would recommend it, actually. One of last year's episodes, but oh my God, dude. But yeah, this is actually going to be the first episode of, I don't even know what season we're on, season 3 or 4, something like that. I should probably know that. I'm terrible. Where are we at here? We're at about an hour, man. We can wrap her up here, I think. We still got a lot of season to go.
Yeah.
A lot of adventure to have. So
we still got a bird to roost tonight. So
we still got a bird to roost. We got several to roost. I think we're going to try back behind here, and I think we're going to go down there and try it too. Because why not? But yeah, guys, we appreciate it. And yeah, we'll be back with more.
Hoorah.
Stay tuned.